Siblings, our first rivals, are lifelong companions. They challenge us, shape us, and sometimes leave us wondering, why are we so different, yet so connected? Most people grow up with a sibling, and it might surprise you to know that children in the US today are more likely to grow up with a brother or sister than with a father. Despite the countless hours we share, for many of us, siblings shape our world in ways that are often overlooked. While social scientists spend considerable time researching the impacts of schools and parenting on children, very little attention is given to a relationship that might be even more consequential: the relationship between siblings. Could it be that this bond, more than any other, determines how we see ourselves and the world? But what do we really know about siblings? Does birth order affect who we become? And why do children from the same family often grow up with drastically different personalities? To understand this, let's start by looking at one of the most famous sibling stories in history, a story that offers important insights into sibling rivalry and personality development. The First Famous Brothers. Once, in the dawn of human history, there was a boy named Cain. As the firstborn child, Cain basked in the undivided love and attention of his parents. His world was a serene place where he stood at the center of his parents' universe, secure in their affection and admiration. For a time, life was perfect. Then came Abel. Cain's world shifted in an instant. The arrival of his younger brother brought an unspoken competition for love and attention. Cain found himself no longer the sole focus of his parents' affection, and a subtle but growing resentment began to take root in his heart. Cain looked up to his father, idolizing him, mimicking his every move. He sought his father's approval with a fervor that defined his identity. But this deep bond made it all the more painful when he saw his father lavishing affection on Abel. For Cain, it felt like betrayal. Abel, on the other hand, grew up in the shadow of his older brother. He never knew a world without Cain, always looking to him for guidance and validation. Abel didn't seek to rival his brother, he simply wanted to belong. Yet, his mere presence ignited a storm of emotions in Cain, a mixture of jealousy, insecurity, and longing. As they grew, their lives diverged. Cain, burdened by tradition, took on the demanding role of a farmer. Abel, free from such obligations, became a shepherd. Abel's freedom and success seemed like a cruel contrast to Cain's toil and struggle. One fateful day, the brothers presented gifts to their father. Abel offered a lamb, a symbol of abundance and devotion, while Cain brought dry grass, a reflection of his hardships. When their father praised Abel's gift, Cain's heart shattered. The praise that should have uplifted one brother plunged the other into darkness. In a moment of despair and rage, he did the unthinkable. He struck down his own brother, ending Abel's life and forever altering his own. The first step into understanding sibling dynamics. This tragic story of Cain and Abel may seem like a biblical myth, but it highlights some real psychological concepts that are central to understanding sibling relationships: the love, rivalry, and wounds that shape us in profound ways. It provides a perfect backdrop for understanding the impact of birth order and sibling rivalry on personality development. Alfred Adler's theory of birth order. One of the first major contributors to understanding sibling dynamics was the Austrian psychiatrist Alfred Adler. Adler's theory of individual psychology focuses on the idea that our primary drive in life is the desire for power, a desire often rooted in compensating for feelings of inferiority. He proposed that sibling relationships are at the heart of our development, shaping our personalities in ways that even parenting cannot. Adler believed that sibling dynamics are central to how we form our personalities. He argued that each child in a family experiences life differently, depending on their place in the birth order. As the firstborn, children often receive the most attention and are expected to be role models for their younger siblings. This can create a lot of pressure. If the firstborn feels they cannot live up to these expectations, it may result in feelings of inferiority. On the other hand, younger siblings often feel the pressure of being in the shadow of an older sibling. They might also feel a lack of parental attention, which can lead to feelings of social anxiety or even rivalry. In an attempt to differentiate themselves, siblings often develop different personalities or interests, choosing paths that are distinct from one another to avoid direct competition. As Adler pointed out, sibling rivalry over family resources, attention, love, or approval plays a major role in personality development. And it's not just about who gets the most attention. It's about how siblings carve out their own niches within the family to reduce competition and assert their own identity. Adler argued that growing up in the same family doesn't mean experiencing it the same way. Each sibling carves out a unique niche, partly to reduce competition. For example, one child might excel academically, while another shines in sports or art. These niches help siblings coexist, but can also create resentment. When siblings don't find their niches, or boundaries blur, or achievements overlap, then their relationship can suffer. This dynamic can manifest in many ways. For example, famous rivalries, like the Kellogg brothers fighting in court over the invention of cornflakes, or the Dassler brothers who founded Adidas and Puma after a split, are real-world examples of how sibling rivalry can impact not only family relationships but business decisions as well. However, not all sibling relationships are hostile. Many siblings love each other deeply and share close bonds that last a lifetime. But whether the rivalry is friendly or intense, the way siblings relate to each other can significantly influence their emotional and psychological development. The emotional spectrum of sibling relationships. Sibling relationships are complex, swinging between extremes of love and conflict. On one hand, siblings are our first companions, our co-adventurers in childhood. On the other, they are our rivals for attention, resources, and recognition. What does research tell us about siblings in general? Here are 6 things that science suggests to be true about sibling relationships. 1. Firstborns and only children. Firstborn children often look up to their parents as role models, and because of the developmental gap between them and their parents, they tend to have higher IQs. Parents also tend to set higher expectations for them, which can be a source of pressure, but also provides them with valuable skills and leadership abilities. 2. Younger siblings. Younger siblings often model their development after their older siblings. They may have less to prove, but they also might receive less parental attention, which can contribute to social anxiety. However, they tend to be more adaptable and may develop stronger social skills. 3. Brothers versus sisters. On average, relationships between brothers tend to be more conflicted. In contrast, relationships between sisters are more intimate and nurturing. This could be due to societal expectations and gender norms, but it's interesting to note how the sibling dynamic can change based on gender. Mixed sibling pairs can offer a balance of these dynamics. 4. Time together matters. Siblings spend more time together than with their parents, with younger siblings often spending twice as much time with their older siblings. This dynamic can be very influential in shaping personality, as siblings often become each other's confidants and support systems. This shared time often fosters faster social skill development. 5. Health benefits. Children with siblings are often physically more active and less likely to be obese. Additionally, they tend to be happier and more well-adjusted compared to children without siblings. Research has shown that siblings help each other build resilience and social skills at a faster rate than only children. 6. The long-term impact of sibling attachment. Studies suggest that sibling attachment is a strong predictor of well-being later in life. In fact, for some people, a close sibling bond can be more important than even parental attachment. This means that having a healthy, supportive sibling relationship can significantly impact one's emotional and mental health as an adult. The power of healthy sibling relationships. Research even shows that sibling closeness is linked to greater life satisfaction. A study of people in their 80s found that while friendships contributed little to their overall life satisfaction, having a close relationship with a sibling had a significant positive impact on their well-being. But here's the thing. Sibling relationships can also go the other way. If one sibling is bullying or emotionally harming the other, the effects can be long-lasting. The damage caused by sibling rivalry or abuse can affect self-esteem and mental health for life. Adler's advice for handling difficult sibling relationships. If you're struggling with a difficult sibling relationship, Adler has some valuable advice. He suggests that when dealing with someone who seems hard to get along with, remember that they are likely striving to assert their superiority. By understanding this, you can approach the situation with more empathy and patience. Adler's approach is all about shifting perspective and understanding the deeper motivations behind behavior. Rather than competing, siblings can choose to support one another, recognizing their unique strengths and roles. Open communication, empathy, and shared goals can transform rivalry into a source of strength. The story of Cain and Able serves as a cautionary tale, but it also holds a lesson. Jealousy and resentment can lead to destruction, but understanding and acceptance can pave the way for healing and growth. As we reflect on our own sibling relationships, let's remember the shared laughter, the mutual support, and the lessons we've learned together. Siblings may challenge us, but they also shape us, teaching us about ourselves and the world. The lasting impact of sibling relationships. In the end, our relationships with our siblings shape us in profound ways. From the bonds we share to the rivalries we experience, these relationships influence everything from our mental health to our social skills and even our career paths. By understanding how sibling dynamics work, we can better understand ourselves and the people around us. The story of Cain and Abel reminds us of the power of these relationships and the importance of nurturing them with care and compassion. So the next time you reflect on your sibling relationships, think about the powerful role they've played in your development. Whether you've had a close bond or a rivalry, know that these experiences have shaped the person you are today. How have your siblings shaped your life? Share your story in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.